So, Mike Kennedy with you, and we're taking a look in our local Goodwill in Gorham, Maine. Okay, and look at all this media. They have movies and movies and movies, and I looked and I didn't see anything I wanted. That's usually what happens. I looked around. You can see some of the titles, some of the movies I've seen and things like that. Weeds, I didn't know what that was. Looks like some TV series or something. Oh, they had one on the Bible series that was on TV. And I'm just taking a look. They have quite a selection of non-fiction books. And what I'm really looking for is I like field guides. I like to get my hands on some more field guides. So I go down once a week and kind of look through, hoping that I'll see some. It's funny sometimes with Goodwill, they'll get a donation all at once from someone, and there might be 10 books together on the shelf that are about one particular subject. Sometimes that could be field guides, sometimes it could be playing the guitar or whatever, but sometimes they'll be all in one spot and you don't have to look through things because they've come in all at once and someone said, oh, stick these together. They're not really sorted except maybe for size and whether they're fiction or nonfiction, and whether they're kids or not. They do have a separate kids section, and they got plenty of stuff here. We're looking at some of the stuff they get out on the tables. You can see Crocs. Oh, if I was looking for those, that would make me the crocodile hunter. Seeds. And I'm going right back. You know me, I got to look at the electronics and the cameras. Got to see what's there. Kind of go back in history here, and we're going to see a Polaroid camera. The history of Polaroid was very interesting. It died, and now it's had a rebirth, which I'll talk about in another movie. Here's a water bottle with this strange thing in the center. I don't know whether it's something to keep ice cubes in or something. There weren't exactly a lot of directions with it, but it was only $4. I may have to go online and see what that name is. And you can see they have some other water bottles, metal ones, plastic ones. Sometimes they've even had ones for dogs. They have a little tray that you kind of pull down on the side so the dog can lap up the water when you invert it. And just get a tasket. There's lunch baskets. Pottery. China. I always have some china. Oh, here's some electronic stuff. And, oh, look, there's a microscope. But it had virtually nothing with it. And, of course, I'm going to look at some of the cameras. That's what I do. It's like going through a little museum. In the Goodwill, we see 35mm camera, Polaroid cameras. Sometimes we see some odder things. And I'm just filling up time here talking now because obviously I forgot what I'm doing and I'm running the camera. Oh, a humidity indicator. That looks kind of cool. Cords. If you need a cord, go to Goodwill. A lot of times they'll have it needed, especially something odd. Sometimes they'll have it right on the shelf. There's me looking at this USB microscope, but I don't know. It looks like there might be something missing from it. So I'm going to pass that by. Here's this Polaroid camera, which I bet was really pricey at its day. You're going to see some stills of that. See, you can see I keep looking at it. Captiva film. It took a much smaller film than the regular Polaroids, but it was SLR with autofocus. It was quite a big deal. This day, here's our red camera, 35mm camera. Here's a little device that's to, that thing I had was just a port to put in your, like, Apple product to play music. The film's no longer available. This is probably very expensive at one time. Here are a range of 35mm cameras, center one really bad to other ones that are good. Who doesn't remember the VHS cameras? Oh, and here's a close-up of this Rokinon bright red camera. How about that? Wins a prize for being bright red at least. And now we're heading towards the way out. Picture frames, that's something they always have here. And so it's a good bet that if you need one, you should check here. They have dog toys, quite a few different dog toys. How about that? Whoops, that was kind of quick. Glassware, if you need glassware, Goodwill's got it. might not all match, but they certainly have. If you need glasses, they've got glasses. If you need glass bowls, they've got them. Here we're taking a look at there's some baskets here. The cookware. They got a lot of crock pots. No bread machines. My bread machine, the element in it, the heater in it, died. So eventually I'm going to have to get a new bread machine because I like using them. Here's Pyrex bowls. That's kind of good. I like doing my mixing, kneading, and first rise in a bread machine. And you don't have to worry about the temperature. It always heats it up right and just does it. You can see some of the furniture they have available. I'm kind of looking over here. They've got some skis. They've got some vacuum type cleaner thing. And there's a bread box. Oh, look at these electronic pianos. They do have outlets here, so you can plug things in and test them. So if I had really been seriously interested in that boom box, well, look at that heater. It looks like a radiator in an old-fashioned house, but it's electric heater. Here's kind of a bread box type thing. And let's scurry around the back here and see what we see here. Baskets, more baskets. We got plenty of baskets. And so that's pretty much it. We're going to be back on the way out. We'll spy some things on the way. I usually like to look at, by the counter, they have the glass case, and sometimes they have some better items, kind of that they think are more valuable, so that, you know, a salesperson actually has to pass it to you to see it. And sometimes they have some neat stuff there by the counter, and other times they don't have things that are really exciting. So I'm going to take a look. They've got some flexi neck LED spot torches. How about that? $3. And I look over here and I don't see much. They got a fur, some plates. They have some virtual reality goggles to stick your cell phone in. There seems to be a lot of those around now. I guess that was a passing fad as far as the cell phone goes, because I see them everywhere now from $5 to $10 in different stores. Now I'm kind of like peeking around the other side here, and all that is watches. You know, and gardening stuff. Besides having the seeds, they've got some nice pruning tools, scissors, some things to put on the end of the faucets, some gardening gloves. So they've got a good selection of some of the gardening things you might need. Cards, sunglasses, and here's some of the kids' stuff they have. Here's sewing science. How about that? Sew something that makes noise when you get done with it. Star Wars collector puzzle. How about that? It's always best to get something unopened, or not pay a lot for it if you're getting puzzles or games, because, you know, unless, well, you can always bring things back if the pieces aren't always there. That's what I should say. You can bring things back. There's no problem. So there we are. Last look at the books, and out the door we go. See you next time.